Airlift.com.
Now we're going to show you the complete assembly that we've already done for you. You get it as a complete unit, excuse me, as shown, and here is how it's built. First, what we do is we form a clevis. The clevis goes on the shock body, and it slides up and down where it's welded exactly to the specifications that you give us. You can't go any lower than your tire will allow you to go. So when you're deciding how low you want to go, you might give us the measurement from the bottom of the strut to where it hits the tire. If you've got 3.5 inches, that's as low as you can go unless you change tires and wheels. Once you've welded, we have welded this in place for you, then we put on the bottom piece. Then we put on the airbag with the top and bottom rings. Then we put on the top. The top is cambered off center. This allows us to get extra clearance to keep the bag from rubbing. It goes on like this. Then you have the all-important bearing. The bearing that our friend that talked bad about us on a strut video, the bearing he didn't install properly. Then you use your factory top strut mount. And there it is. But what we give you is this whole unit completely assembled. There's no labor. There's nothing for you to do. Now, I'd like to take another moment to explain to you how you can have a problem with a strut. When you have an a coil spring on a vehicle, it's preset at a non-adjustable factory height. And that height is known as a sweet spot. It is a ratio of how much the vehicle weighs to cause the spring to settle down to your predetermined ride height. An airbag is totally adjustable all the way from the top to the bottom. The problem is, if you ride an air strut all the way deflated, you're riding metal to metal, and you're going to break the shafts because you're transferring all the weight of the vehicle to the metal parts instead of the bag. On the other hand, if you're riding all the way up, airbag fully extended, which is known as pimping, the same thing happens. You put pressure on the shaft and you'll pop the shaft out of the shock mount. And this guy in the video maintains ours are defective. It's because of how he used this product. Another thing I'd like to point out is that our struts come with a 7/8 inch shaft as opposed to 5/8 and smaller on original equipment. We heat treat this and it's overbuilt so that it can withstand some of the torture that young people in particular like to put these vehicles to. So remember, never ride fully extended, and never ride fully collapsed. The sweet spot is in the middle, where your shaft has room to travel up and down. There are no components that can break or be defective from the standpoint of making noise, because all of your energy is transferred to and from the bag unless you're fully extended or fully collapsed. Doesn't it make a lot more sense to take our patented strut that is 100% assembled, absolutely no labor whatsoever, except to remove the old strut and put in the new?